Ragnarok Online, often referred to as RO, is a Korean massive multiplayer online role-playing game or MMORPG created by Gravity Company, Limited based on the main Ragnarok by Lee Myung-jin. It was first released in South Korea on August 31, 2002 for Microsoft Windows and has since been released in many other locales around the world. The game has spawned an animated series, Ragnarok the Animation, and a sequel game, Ragnarok Online 2, Legend of the Second. Player characters exist in a world with a player environment that gradually changes with the passage of time. Major changes in the features and history of the world take place as episodes in the RO timeline. Player characters interact in a 3D environment but are represented by 2D character sprites for front, back, side and diagonal facings. The major types of server supported GAMA player versus environment, guild versus guild, player versus player. Also supported by the game server are group versus group, arena combat, player versus monster, player versus all, and various other specific scenarios at designated instance locations in the game world. NPC-run challenges and contests are also available with prizes, awards, and/or in a specific Hall of Fame listing. Setting: Ragnarok Online is divided into a series of maps on two major continents, each of which has its own terrain and native monsters, though many monsters are present in multiple regions. Transportation between maps requires loading the new map and monsters are unable to travel from one map to another unless directly associated with the player, such as a pet, mount, or hireling. There are three major nations in Ragnarok Online, the first of which and where all players start is the Kingdom of Ruin-Midgard. The Schwarzwald Republic, an industrialized neighbor to the north, was added in Episode 10, and Arunafels, a religious nation, is the subject of Episode 11. Areas from Norse mythology are included, such as Niflheim, the land of the dead, and Valhalla, where players can become transcendent classes. New map content is constantly being added to game in the form of episode updates. The official Ragnarok Online servers underwent massive game system changes in 2010, which has been titled Renewal. Renewal revamped game mechanics, changed the behavior and interaction of stats, gears, and modifiers in the stats system, changed the way and amount of character experience, and introduced the third job classes. There are various other changes that come with Renewal, including interface and hotkey alterations, as well as skill changes. Renewal has different versions, according to the server it is being implemented in. The two major versions are called the KRO and JRO, titled after the server in which the version was created. The differences between each version were made by the corresponding branch of Gravity in order to please their players, rather than having an overall brand of Renewal, which might only please a minority. City-town activities: within the many cities and towns, there are many activities that players can participate in. Usually, there will an Eden teleport officer and several Khafra employees throughout the city. Eden teleport officers work for an organization called the Eden Group that allows players to sign up for quests and submit them for rewards. Khafra employees help players by providing storage and teleport services for a small fee. These two NPCs are very important to the development of characters in the game. In addition, every town will have the usual stores and shops where players can purchase and sell their items. The stores differ from city to city because each city is affiliated with a different job that players can choose from. Therefore, the goods each sell are relatively for that particular job that the city is affiliated with. Furthermore, there usually will be dozens of other players sitting around selling and purchasing goods. It is good to take advantage of this because often, they will purchase goods for high prices while also selling very rare items. There are also many side quests that players can choose to take on after speaking to certain NPCs. These side quests usually provide a unique reward that cannot be earned in any other way, such as learning a new skill or receiving an extremely rare item. There are lots of things players can do inside every city, so it's best to spend some time walking around and talking to all the NPCs. Job system: jobs are one of the most important aspects of Ragnarok Online. A player choice of job will determine his or her strengths and weaknesses both in a party and outside of one. The job system initially consisted of 13 classes, which has increased to over 50 via several updates. Each class specializes in certain skills corresponding to archetypes in a role-playing game. Additionally, numerous equipment are exclusive to particular classes. The greatness of the equipment depends on the character attribute status. All players start as a novice. As the name implies, the novice is a tutorial job that allows a new player to get the general feel of the game. Upon reaching a certain level which is dependent on their desired job, a player has 3 options: he/she can change into one of 6 first classes, choose one of the expanded classes, or become a super novice. After increasing their player level and job level to a specific amount, first-class characters can advance into their second class. It should be noted that each separate class allows 2 options for the second class change. For example, the swordsman class can become either a knight or a crusader. Once a player reaches player level 99 and job level 50, they can rebirth their character. Rebirthing brings a character back to level 1 for both player level and job level. Reborn characters generally work the same as regular characters up until the second class. Instead of a second class, characters that are born can transcend to a new second job, different from those of a character that hasn't been reborn. These transcended job types have more skills and a larger number of stat points to allocate to characters compared to second classes. The experience curve for transcendent jobs is significantly higher. As of the renewal update in 2010, players are given the option to advance onto their third classes, which provide an additional set of skills as well as allowing with player to break through the traditional level cap of 99. A player will evolve and change jobs multiple times over the course of playing, though the number of changes will be determined by choices made by the player. Audio: the background music of Ragnarok Online currently consists of over 100 individual tracks, composed, arranged, recorded and mixed by Sound Temp and Hankook Recording Studio, with some tracks by Nayasign and others. The game's music spans a wide variety of genres, including trance, techno, jazz, rock, and orchestral. New tracks are added to the soundtrack as with every new area added to the game world. The Memory of Ragnarok Online original soundtrack is a best-of-soundtrack album featuring selected background music in addition to remixes as well as vocal arrangements of certain pieces performed by Lee Myung-jin, Lee Jung-hee and Seo Ji-hee. The game's official theme song, You and I, is also included. It was developed by Sound Temp and released by Gravity in 2006. Licensing: while Ragnarok Online is both developed and run by Gravity in South Korea, its various official overseas versions are licensed and run by regional ventures. This has led to a multitude of regional differences in the game, such as localized or translated text, special in-game events, and the payment model. P2P servers equals, this is the original payment model, pay-to-play. Depending on the version, users can pay by a monthly subscription or by prepaid cards. The IRO server has switched completely to the F2P model supported by revenue from the in-game Kafra shop. Kafra shop equals, microtransactions and virtual freemium shops have become an increasingly favored revenue stream over monthly subscriptions for online multiplayer games, especially in the Asian MMO market. As such, the Kafra shop was added to the RO servers. Users are able to purchase Kafra credit points with local currency. The points can then be exchanged for items available only in the Kafra shop. To avoid the negative perception of players buying their way to success, weapons and armors are not sold in the Kafra shop with the exception of some fashionable or collectible hats which may have a small armor value so that they may continue to be worn as a compromise between normal headgear armor and fashion statement hat accessories. Also, players can continue playing all the way to level 99, wear gears, train all applicable levels of their job class, and compete in events without ever purchasing from the Kafra shop. This service appears on most other localized servers of Ragnarok Online such as JRO, MRO, Pro, RRO and KRO, using the currency of the respective countries for points. In addition, upgraded forms of normal equipment can be rented using Kafra points. F2P servers equals, there are official free-to-play servers where players can play Ragnarok Online free of charge, with a few differences in gameplay. Major differences are the limited use of the Kafra teleport service, upgrading weapons and armor never have a safe zone in which the player cannot break the weapon armor, items have had their costs changed or been removed entirely from the game, the Acolyte's skill teleport has been modified, and prices on certain NPC items received a moderate increase. Notably, characters may be any job class, access any map, attain all skills, wear any gear, and progress to all levels without payment of microtransaction fees. Changes vary from server to server. Some free-to-play servers also provide premium account plans with various in-game benefits. The use of free servers has resulted in a higher reliance on the Kafra shop item or for revenue stream. Many localized versions of Ragnarok Online have implemented free servers during 2007 to 2008. Ragnarok Mobile, Gravity Company Limited released 8 separate games for the mobile phone, allowing players to experience the game on the road. Each version focuses on the main aspect of the super novice, acolyte, thief, merchant, mage, archer, gunslinger, tycoon, ninja, and swordsman classes based on the version of the game they have. Players are able to advance their characters using the attributes STR, AGI, VIT, LUK, INT, and DEX. Though not placed in the server, players control their character and complete a series of quests or tasks. As players earn Zenny, they are able to send the Zenny to their real accounts. Also, a ranking is present where characters are ranked by the amount of Zenny the character has. Ragnarok Mobile Story Online was also released in Japan for Android and iOS, providing users with the traditional origami play on a mobile platform. Ragnarok Online, Valkyrie Uprising is also on Android and iOS and has been translated into English. It supports cross-platform play between Android and iPhone users at the same servers. Ragnarok Online, Ash Vacuum, a mobile strategic empire-building role-playing game in which you can build towns, level characters, raid dungeons and attack others. It's available on Android and iOS. Pouring. Pouring is a monster in the game. Its appearance is a pink, jelly-like blob with a 3-face that bounces around. It is one of the first creatures that new players get acquainted with. It has some variations like drops, pouring, and Marin which appear in other parts of the game, and mini-bosses like the Angeling, Deviling, Archangeling, and a few others. Due to its popularity, it can be considered the game's symbol. See also, Gravity Corporation, the game's developer, Ragnarok, a main that served as basis for the game, Ragnarok the Animation, an anime based on the game, Ragnarok Online 2, Legend of the Second, a sequel to the game, Ragnarok Battle Offline, a Doujin brawler, Ragnarok DS, a Nintendo DS game based on the MMORPG, Ragnarok Online, Valkyrie Uprising, a cross-platform smartphone game for Android and iOS, Ragnarok Tactics, a PlayStation portable game, Ragnarok Odyssey, a PlayStation Vita game. References. External links, Ragnarok Online official site, Ragnarok Online at Metacritic, Ragnarok Online at Moby Games.